the aligned standards in this lesson. Interpret products of whole numbers. Interpret 5, 7 as a total of objects in 5 groups of 7 objects each. Use multiplication and division within 100 to solve word problems in situations involving equal groups, arrays, and measurement quantities by using drawings and equations with a symbol for the unknown number to represent the problem. The learning objectives. Families will be able to write math riddles for given multiplication sentences, use objects, words, pictures, and numbers to provide a written explanation reflecting their understanding of multiplication, and use patterns in multiplication. Prior knowledge skills. Families should understand that multiplication is repeated addition, that division is repeated subtraction, add and subtract numbers. Basic multiplication facts 0 to 9, or how to solve to find the answer to basic multiplication problems, and how to write complete sentences. For this lesson, you will need paper, pencil, and if you have crayons or colored pencils, you may want to use those as well. Are you ready? I am. Let's get started. Mind-stretching math riddle story. Click on the picture below to read the story, The Grapes of Math. Fish School. Of all the creatures in the sea, a fish is smart as smart can be. While others swim and play it cool, a fish is happy in a school. How many fish are in this class? Answer quick and you will pass. Here's a hint, a little clue. When counting fish, just look askew. Are you ready? Let's solve riddle number 1, Fish School. Turn your head sideways. Look along the diagonal. And what do you see? How many rows are there? I see 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. How many fish are in each row? Do you see the 4 groups with 4 fish in each group? We could write an addition sentence. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 16. Or we could write a multiplication sentence. 4 times 4 equals 16. The Grapes of Math. I stroll along a vineyard path, and there I see the grapes of math. Overhead the sun is blazing, soon each grape will be a raisin. How many grapes are on the vine? Counting each takes too much time. Never fear, I have a hunch. There's a match for every bunch. Are you ready to solve riddle number 2? The Grapes of Math. How many grapes are on the vine? Use the hunch and match the bunch. How can we count the bunches better? Using equal groups, let's use groups of 10. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the first bunch to the top left. And there's 3 more in the bunch right beside it. If we circle those together, we have a group of 10. Let's find the other groups of 10. There's another group of 10, and another group of 10, and another group of 10, and another group of 10. Now we've circled our sets of 10. Let's write an addition sentence. 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 equals 50. We have 5 sets of 10. Our multiplication sentence would say 10 times 5 equals 50. Snail Parade. One day while walking through a glade, I came across a snail parade. Rows and rows of snails I spied. How do I count them all? I cried. I don't just group the ones you see. Consider where a snail should be. On to riddle number 3. Snail Parade. First, let's imagine the snails that might be in the rows that we see. The array we have is not complete of equal rows. We can complete an array by adding an imaginary snail. Let's do that now. How many are in each row, including the imaginary snails we drew? I see an array is complete with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal rows. What addition sentence could we write? How many snails are in each row, including the imaginary snails we drew? Count them. You're right, 5. 5 are in each row. Now, write an addition sentence to find out how many snails are in the parade. Does your sentence say 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 25? You're right. Did you say 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 25? You're correct. Now, let's write a multiplication sentence to represent the real and imaginary snails. Here's my multiplication sentence. Now, how many snails were actually in the parade? Don't forget to subtract the imaginary snails to find out how many snails are in the parade. 25 snails minus the 3 snails that we drew equals 22 real snails all together in the parade. Ant attack! It's a picnic, the ants all scream. How many ants are in this scene? Try to count them one by one. Before you finish, they'll be done. Find a square before you count. Soon you'll see the right amount. Time to solve riddle number 4, ant attack. How many ants are in this scene? We're looking for a shape. Do you see it? I see a square shape of ants. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal rows of ants. How many ants are in each row? I spy a shape. There are 4 rows of ants in the square. How many ants in each row? What addition sentence could we write to find out how many ants are in the square? We could say 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 16. Or we could write a multiplication sentence to represent the ants in the square by saying 4 times 4 equals 16. Can you write an addition sentence and a multiplication sentence to tell the total amount of ants in the square? Check your answer on the next slide. Now you know there's 16 ants in the square. How many ants are outside the square? Yes, 3. So 16 plus 3 equals how many ants in the army altogether? You're right, 19 ants in that army. Aren't you glad we didn't count them one by one? The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. Let's review. We said 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 16. That was our addition sentence for how many ants in the square. Then we turned it into a multiplication sentence. Remember, there were 4 rows, and each row there were 4 ants. So we said 4 times 4 is 16. 16 ants were in the square, plus 3 ants were outside the square, equals 19 ants all together in the army. Riddle number 5. 1 hump or 2. Rugged camels on the go, their humps are filled with H2O. They trek around all day for fun. Some have 2 humps, others 1. Can you add the humps you see? Don't just count them 1, 2, 3. To help you find the right amount, group by 5s before you count. Rather than add the humps in each row, add down each column. To help you find the right amount of group by count by 5s as the rhyme suggested. Let's start to the left, and we're going to go down. 2 humps on the first camel, 2 humps on the second camel, and 1 hump on the third camel. That's 5 humps in the first column. Let's count how many columns we have of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many total groups of 5 humps are there? How many total groups of 5 humps are there? You're right, 5 groups of 5. We could write that in an addition sentence, or it would be easier to write it in a multiplication sentence. We would say 5 groups times 5 in each group equals, count by 5s if you need to, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Nice multiplication sentence. So let's review. There's 5 groups of 5. Our addition sentence would say 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 25 humps in all. Our multiplication sentence would say 5 plus 5 equals 25 humps in all. Counting by 5s is the way to survive. Way to go! Let's celebrate your hard work. Click on the link below.